Good evening and welcome to the Pmbc meeting for July 13th, 2022. We don't have a warrant this evening, so we will go to the approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting, June 22nd, as amended, and I will share the agenda with the team, if I can do that. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, so let me enlarge this a little bit. Okay, no warrant. Are there any questions on the meeting minutes from June 22nd?
No.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Bob Romley.
Okay, roll call vote. Bob?
Bob
Who
Romley, yes.
Who seconded?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Roll call. Bob.
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett?
Bartlett, yes.
Brian?
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Mike?
Mike Scaduto, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. Okay, thank you. Brian Forbes is with us, is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, we're going to move to your project so you can report on them, and I know you have a time constraint.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys understanding the time constraints. And if Brian Pasquale, if you don't mind, if I jump in front with the senior center update before your roof, I will just
No problem.
go through. If you guys have any questions, feel free to jump right in. But if we want to start at the library project, currently we had a successful grant application. We got the monies, the applications and payments that the state was looking for in order to satisfy the grant. We were told from the representative that everything looked good. I have not heard anything back from them, so I would be expecting the payment from the state within due time. So that's great news for the solar panels. As for the physical solar panels, I have confirmed delivery for around the beginning week of September. He has had taken delivery of optimizers and other of the racking systems. So things are slowly trickling in. We have not paid for the physical materials, but we're hoping to get those in the first week of September. The library trustees and the library director have been doing a great job with the warranty. We had a walkthrough a couple of weeks ago where we identified a few items that still weren't working per the construction documents. The contractor has been responsive, has been out to deal with some cracked window trim. The metal gate had been loose, and they're actually, we're organizing another training for the control systems to make sure that we're keeping our energy consumption as low as possible. Lastly, we've added some scope for access control on the lower level near the children's patio. That will be done in the next couple of weeks, as well as we're coordinating with the light department and a local electrician that was recommended by Ed Mullins for installation of the electric vehicle charger once that gets brought over by the electric department. So that's all good news on the library. As you can see, there was nothing on the warrant, so we're in good shape right now. Any questions on the library?
Yeah, quick question for you, kind sir.
Yes.
The access controls on the lower level for the library, is there ever any intent to use that as the primary egress whenever the library itself is closed to get access into that community room?
Good question. I don't know the functionality of it. I knew that it was more or less, they wanted it used for a handicap button to get off of the patio.
Okay. Good sense.
But I can inquire with the trustees about what they're, I understand what you're asking about coming in that way during after hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I can ask that as I'm pretty much in talks with them daily.
Yeah, no big issue. Just was curious, Brian. Thank you.
No problem. If there's nothing more, we can move to the police. The only update I have with the police, and this may be for Bob or Steve, is did George ever go over to look at the gap that was in the Sally Port? Because that's the only open item that I have on this project from being closed out.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so I have a meeting with him separately next week in regards to the senior center project. What I'll do is maybe he can jump in my truck and we can go down and take a look at it and put eyes on it.
I did talk to him, Brian, but I never asked him about going down and repairing that. I did tell him that the plate that was up there that the old deterrent was on.
Yeah.
Where they're getting in.
So that's not the Sally Port.
I'm sorry, the rear
Yeah.
overhang, or where there's been,
Right.
I think that's a cruiser parking, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of, it's like a storage area.
Storage area, yeah, understood. Okay, so I'll touch base with him. Moving to our senior center, we actually do have some updates with here. Town council has ultimately closed on the property, the neighbor abutters. So that is now in the town's hands. The town has asked LLB Architects to use their consultant for some additional surveying so that we can start identifying the plot lines around the two properties, and doing the land swap that's desired in order to get the parcel of land in order to build the building. Design development is ongoing right now. We currently have the application to the Inspector General. We're anticipating hearing from them any day now, to get the approval for the CM at risk. Once we get that, we will immediately put out the RFQ. I've actually spoken to a couple CMs, including the one that built our library across the street, and they are very intrigued and waiting for the RFQ to come out, and they'd be absolutely be putting their qualifications in for this job.
So Brian, isn't that taking longer than we anticipated? Wasn't it supposed to be like 60 days?
60 days is the maximum that they have. It was put in, I believe, on the first week of June. So we're up
Okay.
around 5 or 6 weeks right now.
Okay.
Brian, didn't they want some more additional information on that too?
No, the Inspector General reached out to me for one question regarding my timeline. I think I had a typo on the year. So I fixed that. That did not affect the schedule that it was in. So design development is ongoing right now. What we have scheduled right now is an initial department head meeting with the fire and the police, the Disability Commission, the DPW, just to start looking at some of the logistics of the building, to make sure that LLB is on track, and making sure listening to all needs of the building. I believe Liz was going to be sending out that email. Kirby, with you on, is that something that would you need to have some involvement with, to take a look at the floor plans? I'm not sure what the involvement LCTV would have at the senior center.
You have to excuse me, I'm laughing.
Okay.
And it's not about you or anything else. It's just that I don't think we're going to be doing anything over there because it's not been asked for.
Right.
You know what happens, Brian? We get involved and all of a sudden after the floor's poured, right?
Right. Yeah. I'll call you when we do the ribbon cutting, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what our expectation is, sir. But if you hear anything different, you've got my personal number. I really would like to know about something like that
Definitely.
sooner than later.
We'll be having that in, I believe, next Thursday. I will make sure I'm going to be working on getting a conference room at the library so that we can start the initial meetings with those, to make sure that we've got
Sure.
valuable input from the town.
Sure. Yeah, we could always move the library stuff over there.
Yeah, right.
We could use it.
Brian, that meeting's the 21st. It's at 10 a.m. It's an in-person meeting, right?
What that is actually, Bob, Liz sent out a document that I put together so that the department heads could sign up for a 20-minute block in the afternoon. So whether it's the fire department comes in at 1 and sits with us at the library, then Chief Bernard can leave, and then we meet with the fire department, and then we meet with another commission. So we have it set up so that people can sign up for whatever helps their schedule, and we'll be there for the afternoon.
Didn't Anthony want an earlier date on earlier time on that for the board members though?
I'll touch base with Anthony when he gets back from vacation. I know that he was having, I think he was throwing like a luncheon for the
Yes.
employees.
That's what
And
I
we were gonna work around that schedule.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll find out from him on Monday then.
So Brian, you're going to copy Bob on every meeting?
Absolutely. I've considered Bob the conduit right now to the PMBC.
Right, okay.
I was at the last meeting, Steve.
Yeah, I know. Appreciate it. Thanks.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you, Brian, I'm sure you must have been the one that sent out the latest timetable?
That was put together by our architects, but
Yeah,
yes.
because, yeah, I got it today, but boy, I cannot read it at all. I know I'm old and my eyes aren't great, but even with a magnifying glass, I can't read anything.
No problem. I actually have a cleaner version of it. I'll send it out to the PMBC, just to the general email, so you guys can all have it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb and I run into this at work all the time. When documents are sent out to the team, they have to be legible.
Yep.
Somebody should have done a QC check on it.
I can't agree more. Yep.
Yeah.
And Brian, please include me when you send it.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions on senior center?
Okay.
Anything else, Brian?
Nope. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Hey,
See you
Brian.
next week, Brian.
So that brings us over to the Littleton High School roof update. Brian?
Sure. So we have a set of documents, a bid package, I'd say is about 95% there from Russo Bar. We need to update some of the front end general conditions of the contract language, but otherwise the specs and drawings are complete. We need to, there's a couple of minor comments I've received so far, but I think everybody on the committee has received those documents. So if anyone else has any questions or comments, please just shoot those over to me by email so we can make sure they get addressed before it goes out. In the most recent conversation today, I think what we're going to do, speaking with Steve Mark, is probably hang on to these documents and not put them out right now because, understandably so, Steve doesn't want to risk. And I think it's more than a risk. I think it's a definite at this point. If it goes out to bid now, that we'd be in construction in the school year. So rather than have the school administration deal with those logistics and site access and all that when the school year is going on, what I spoke with Russo Bar about today is probably just hang on to the documents until after the first of the year and put them out to bid then with a construction schedule to start as soon as school is out of session next June. So that's the current plan.
Yeah, and that'll actually give us a little time to investigate this snow melt system and
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So, it's unfortunate we couldn't get it done this summer, but I think at this point, that's the right call to do.
So, Mike, when I saw this email from Steve Mark today, I was thinking, maybe it's a good thing that we're pushing it off until next year. But where do you see pricing going?
Pricing is going to keep creeping up, but it's that insulation lead time. It's still around a year, depending on the size of the roof.
Is it really? Okay. I just did a fairly small roof at work and we didn't have that problem, but that's good to know, Mike. So
yeah, I've talked to a few guys and it's basically if it's the mid-sized roof, they might be able to get the material, but if it's anything large, it's it could be 30 weeks, it could be 50 weeks.
Okay, that's very good to know then, because maybe that'll make us put it out a little sooner than I would have guessed. Because yeah, like I said, maybe what I did was just small enough that they were able to get enough material, but
yeah, I'd say probably the fall, sometime in the fall, and you'd probably have it before the end of the summer.
Yeah, that's a good call. Then maybe we look at putting this out in October or November rather than wait until January.
So that's a good call for a meeting for a little bit of strategy. So
yep.
Once we get all of our specs and the bid package together.
Yep.
Okay. And Rich Crowley, even though he's resigned, he's offered to lend his assistance. So, he'll be helping us out.
Yep, I'll keep copying Rich on everything and invite him to any meetings. The architect does want to present that snow melt system to us. We missed the opportunity to do that in person, but early next week, he's gonna get me some more dates when the vendor can come out and review that with Steve, Mark, and myself, and I'll invite Rich as well.
That'd be great. Anything else, Brian?
That's all for the roof.
Okay, moving on to Shaker Lane feasibility study. Steve Mark has a meeting set up next week with MSBA. They'll provide us with the parameters and, more to come on that. And I think that kind of wraps it up for the agenda, which I guess I never shared on the screen, but member input, Bob?
I spoke to Timlin the other day, tried to get her to come back, and she goes, "No way."
Worth a shot.
Good try. We ought to try to get Daryl back. He was good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
I'm all set, Steve.
Okay. Who said that? Oh, Brian. Bob. Brian.
I'm all set. Thanks, Steve.
Bartlett.
I'm all set, thanks.
Mike.
I have a quick question on the Shaker Lane. Do we need to replace Rich?
We do. Do you have a candidate?
I can't nominate myself, so.
I'll nominate you.
I'll nominate Mike,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, that's a very good question.
You can also take my spot if you want, Mike.
Now, that's a very good point. We should replace Rich. Is there a motion to appoint Mike to that position?
So moved.
Is there a
Second,
second? Bartlett. All in favor, Bob?
Bob Rumley, yes.
Brian?
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Bartlett?
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
And Mike?
Mike Scuduto, yes.
And Steve Moore, yes. So, what you're going to have to do, Mike, is get sworn in.
Okay, go to the town hall.
Yeah, you go down and see Diane, and if you get a hold of Diane and you can't get down there during normal business hours, she's pretty accommodating. She'll come out and meet you in the parking lot and swear you in, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty flexible. I'm overly busy right now, but I'm flexible.
I'm sure. Okay,
Do you need to get sworn in for each one of these committees?
you do, yeah.
So I'm on the committee now with the seniors, so I got to go get sworn in for that.
You're not really officially on it because PMBC is not managing.
Not
the
recognized
project.
yet.
So as soon as the select board directs PMBC to manage the project, yes. So, any other business? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Mike Scuduto, second.
Roll call vote. Bob,
Bob Rumley, yes.
Brian,
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Bartlett,
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
Mike,
Mike Scuduto, yes.
and Steve Moore, yes. I should have said the next scheduled meeting is July 20th. We're probably going to continue with the, I hope, the Zoom format.
I heard till December of 23. It's good.
Oh, but I also heard, this was yesterday, we're talking about, it could possibly be hybrid, with the bulk of the people supposedly having to go to go in person, and then, so let's wait and see.
So the facts are, the House and the Senate have two different versions of the virtual meetings. They are not agreeing to it yet. And as far as the other stipulations about virtual meetings or not, we are planning to broadcast virtual meetings in person next week because we don't have a clear direction. But we're hopeful, like you guys are, that you can do things virtually as much as possible as well. So that's my 3 cents.
Okay,
You'll keep us up to date, right?
Ma'am, I will always try and help this group.
thanks, Garby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Steve, we tried to recruit Kirby for the board.
I know, I thought his credentials are perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, he does have enough time, spare time to do this.
He's got all kinds of spare time.
He's kind of a de facto member anyway, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, well, thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time, and see you in
Thank
a
you.
couple of weeks.
Thanks, Steve.
Stay cool,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Right on.
you.
See you later.